Hi, it's Hazel. Welcome back to my channel. I am going to be doing, and I've done some prep just to save you and me some time. This is day 1 of Defemember, and if you are watching Louisa, Heinzel, and Barbara from 49 Dragonflies, you know that the prompt today was mason jar and fluff, and the animal was hedgehog. So I've done some prep. Let's begin at the beginning. This was a little Reader's Digest book that I had prepared a little while ago, thinking that, excuse me, that it would be best if I, went with the flow and had a journal to put these pieces into as they're created. So what I've done is, and let me do something while I'm talking. What I've done is drew out a pattern somewhere here, just on a scrap piece of paper, folded it in half, drew what I thought looked like the outline of a mason jar. My first attempt was way too wide for these small pages, and then I thought, okay, let's just tell myself that it's a pint jar, and that's why it's a little short and squat. Anyway, I adapted that, and this is what I ended up with. I then, using marks at the back, cut out an opening for a window. And that's one of the strategies or techniques that I don't use very often. So I thought, okay, let me force myself to do it today. So I've also sort of pre-cut a shape, or I mean the size and shape that is needed for, this isn't going particularly well, that is needed for the, to create a little window there. This looks like a kid in grade 1 did it. Okay, so maybe I should mimic this other side. Okay, so here is my little piece of acetate. I just got that from some packing. I will, using Fabra tack, glue this down to this opening and hope it doesn't squeeze out, and hope you can see. Don't really want to work on my pages because I'm likely to have an accident. Just try to make a little contact there. I guess I could be using a card. So I watched both Louisa's and Barbara's videos today and thought, day 1, better get with the program. Try not to fall behind right off the bat. It probably will be difficult to stay on track through the whole month. But, okay, so the other thing I did was sort of made, and this is much like what Louisa did, made a metallic looking, this is just, I should show you the paper I'm using, gray 6x6 cardstock, and this was some metallic paper, so I just sort of cut, what would look like the lid from the metallic stuff. Oh, I should say that I also cut, and it's kind of curling up. This was the back side of this wallpaper page, so there was some text here that I wanted to cover. So that's what I've done there. Now, on Barbara's video, she was saying about, oh, how could the hedgehogs get to the mushrooms? And so what I'm trying to do here is I've created this little card. I mean, this is just some packaging covered with some old Reader's Digest book that ended up being too weak and started cracking on the edges, so that I ended up using some washi tape in the same color family as what is going on here. And then I wrapped some matching fibers around, much like Louisa's doing when she ran hers around the you know, her hedgehog. So now this, because there's some bulk there, boy, I hope this works. So I think what I should see, when I realized, okay, I want these fibers sort of, originally I wanted to use this kind of stuff, but the pieces are so short that it would have been difficult to wrap them around anything and have them sort of spilling out of the top of the jar. So I was thinking I could maybe fake it and just glue this, you know, like somehow through magic, this lid was just perched here on the side. That's the thought process so far. My goodness, I hope I hope this works. And if not, you're live and in color. You're seeing it fail right here on day one. So I'm using Fabri-Tac rather than art glitter glue or anything else. Putting a fairly, probably too generous a bead of glue around the edge. But since there will be some strain on this, I don't see any other way around it. So because I'm putting my hedgehog lower down on the page, fussy cut him out, I guess I'll put this about here. And maybe before it totally sets, I should stick, oh, people, this isn't working. I'm going to have to cut that. Like Barbara, I'm going to have to cut this top off. Glue this down. Use that, oops, sorry. What are we looking at now? Use this thing to pick the glue up. It just sort of rolls it off. I mean, Fabri-Tac works pretty well even with your finger. I use this also if I, you know, have an issue with even glue stick. It works pretty well. So let's get that residue off there. It oozed out a bit here. Again, like I say, a Fabri-Tac sort of tends to roll. You can sort of roll it off as well. But this tool, I mean, this thing is good. Okay, back to the plan. Let me get this thing in there so that we can make sure that as this glue sets, it's sort of going to take the shape around this thing. I probably have to put this here just so it looks like a mason, so it looks like a mason jar. Otherwise, I've kind of got a problem in that, you know, it looks like who knows what. So, okay, I think I can afford to use my U-hoop on that. So I'm tucking it behind there, pretending it's just perched on the edge of the jar. Again, if we only included things that were realistic and believable, there wouldn't be much that would make the cut here. So basically, just to, sort of finish out the page, I thought that to repeat the text element, I would just, again, rip up some of this Reader's Digest paper. Oh, see, wouldn't it have been, mind you, I guess it would have been difficult to have it under that pocket, because then it could have been interfering with that. I can also make this a bit skinnier. And by having it touching there, I'm also creating, it's sort of a design choice as well, in that it connects the different elements. This is a fairly neutral page, of course, because, and maybe someday I won't be as matchy-matchy, but, I obviously like to keep colors related and cohesive. So with the hedgehog being the color that he is, this paper is so fragile. So it just helps give him something to sit on. Oh my goodness, you can't even see what I'm doing. Sorry. Oh, when I moved the camera. I mean, when I had to get into that drawer. Okay. So what I'm going to do is glue this down. I had I had one of these cards with several different fibers on them. Originally, I wanted to use this one because it had the brown and the gray in it, and I thought, oh, that brings those two things together. But of course, it made this card here pretty darn thick. So what I should probably do is cut a smidge. Smidge is an official measurement, in case you didn't know. Cut a smidge of this off. Yeah, maybe from this end it's a little more. And add it above the paper and under the hedgehog. So that is the plan as it stands. Paper. Again, offset it a bit. Not smack dab in the middle of the paper. Another design element. Don't want the hedgehog way over here, because then it looks like he's crawling into the other page, so he too will be over here. And let's see. Do I care if this is... Maybe I'll lay down a bead of glue and see what happens. Or maybe I should try, well, that's probably not going to be a good idea. I was going to say try to attach it to the little edging on here, but don't want it too bulky under his butt because obviously he's just paper. Put another little smidge there. And again, this must be a Fabrifix day. I'll use this just so that so we can get better contact than we would with a glue stick. Oh, this is cardstock. It's not just paper. I should know. I'm the one that printed it. Again, so you see how these different elements are intersecting. His back is sort of making contact with the jar, the bottom of the jar. And the paper, and the fiber. His little nose is a little bit hidden there. That's okay. And the last thing that I had in mind was the word hedgehog. Again, just because we like using script. And, oh, I also considered using some of more of the, or should I put this up here? That would help repeat the, or maybe since there's a bit of that showing, maybe I need to put a little patch in there. So typical trick, add a bit of glue stick, glue, so the washi is more likely to actually stay where it's intended. Yeah, so now that is covered without adding any bulk. So that could connect to that. I guess every time I glue something down over this edge of the jar, I'm also helping hold it, keep it from lifting because of the thicker item that's in it. Now that looks like it's an island unto itself. I guess what I could do is just print up here the date and the prompts. That's another possibility. Tough one. I like it down here because I tend to put the visual weight at the bottom because that's where, that's typically how it is in life. But yet, unless let me try something else. See how nice that paper is in terms of but yet I don't like the straight line. So maybe if I just rip, make it narrower, get it away from interfering with anything going in and out. That softens that sharp line of the washi tape, as well as repeating the text in 3 places. Yes, that will be the plan. Nice thin paper, nice flat surface. I'm just relying on glue stick. So that means I can now put hedgehog where I wanted to in the first place. See how easy it is to make things happen when you're the one making all the design decisions? Want to please yourself? Because there's no one else to please. Go for it. Just hold that for a second till it grabs. Again, text, sentiment, fiber, jar, edge, all connecting. Oops. I think that I'm going to call it a day here. I will probably add, although I did print it. I wonder where I put it though. I did print the whole, oh, here it is. The whole month of, oh, I could just cut it out, and I could cut out each line and somewhere, tuck it somewhere on the page. Hey, that's what I'm going to do. That'll be another design element. See, that wasn't very straight. Let's get this a little bit better. I guess, see, adding all these things in late in the process makes it a bit more hit and miss than having thought it all through. I don't want it to be, but yet it's quite bold. I don't want it to get more importance than it deserves. How are we doing for time? It's kind of painful, isn't it, watching this decision making? But I suppose it does show the thought process, or lack thereof. I guess if I did it that way, I'd be connecting, adding a third element there. Yeah. We're going to call that a decision. did I manage to get that dirty? We call that the grunge factor. We call that deliberate. Ha. Okay, so it looks like I'm going to be adding the prompt as part of the element on each page. I think that I'm going to say this is done. Although I suppose I could add something. Would there be any point, though, in adding a Brad or this corner feels empty to me because it is. To see what you can see. Okay, if I choose to add anything else, I'll be sure to show you on day 2. How's that? Is that a deal? Because truly, this I don't want to make you. I might add a brad or an eyelet. I may add some stamping or something just to break up that white, well, not white space, but you know what I mean. That very plain background. Okay, please, oh, I did print something up, and I guess this is probably how I'll be ending each video now. Now, can you see it? That is my hope. That is my dream. That is my plea. Please subscribe if you like what you're seeing and hearing here. And I guess we'll see you tomorrow. Thanks. Bye.